Yo, what is up guys, back with another video. The Year of Fire is finally here, and with the release of Phantom Nightmare we can play probably the best deck of this format, whether it's Snake Eyes or Snake Eyes Fire King, maybe even Snake Eyes Rescue Ace, but regardless, fire decks are here and they are here to stay. The new regional season is here as well. We just had our regionals this past weekend and I just got back home and I'm ready to share my deck profile with you guys. Now for this one I did opt to play the Fire King variant. I still very much enjoy those cards. I was playing it since it was released actually, and I think looking at the results in the OCG as well, you can see that they kind of look at the Fire King variant as probably the best fire version out there. But regardless, whether it's Snake Eyes deck you're playing or something else, I think these are cards that will definitely be the most relevant cards in the meta today. So let's get right into the profile. We will start with probably the most important portion of the deck, and it is the Snake Eyes cards. We do start with 3 Snake Eyes Ash. It's just the best normal summon in your deck, and it's really the card that you want to draw. It's really the card that you want to start your plays with. But the only reason Snake Eye Ash is as good as it is, well, not the only reason, but a big reason, is of course the newest card, and it is Snake Eye Poplar, or Populous as we called it before it came into the TCG. Amazing card. I think everybody already knows what it does. It just does so much. I mean, Ash and Poplar, they give you a full board. I mean, Ash in itself is a 1-card combo, but Poplar really, you know, a free body, a free normal summon. It still sticks onto the field. It just gives you so many plays and just opens the whole deck, the whole strategy, and that is the reason why Snake Eyes are currently being talked about so much. We do play 1 Oak as well. Really good card. You have some lines that you can go through this card. Helps you play around some hand traps as well. It's really good. It's also another target later for Ash. You're not that mad if you draw it either. I mean, you have many plays with it, and just these cards are so good. Level 1 fire monsters, they always come back to the field. You always have more bodies to go into your link plays, to go into your disruptions. It is amazing, and I think no matter which version you're playing, especially, you know, in this deck as well, you want to play at least 1 Oak, because if you don't, I feel like you're just gonna miss it. Of course, here is Snake Eyes Flamber Dragon as well. I think everybody saw the potential in this card when Age of Overlord came out, and even before that. It's really good. It just needed, you know, something to bring the whole strategy together. Now we have those cards, so Flamberge is amazing. Even if you draw it, which isn't necessarily the card you want to draw, you know, it's never really a break because you can still special summon it out of your hand as well. So whether it's in your deck or in your hand, you know, it doesn't really matter that much. So Flamberge is amazing, and it's really, you know, one of the most important cards, not just for the whole setup with IP Masquerena, but just the fact that, you know, it can trigger your cards in graveyard as well. You can summon your Kirin through it. You can do so many plays, you know, because again it is, you know, a fire monster as well, so it's just perfect for this deck and for this strategy. And then consistency card, a starter as well, Bonfire. You know, it gets you to your Ash. If you can't get to Poplar, it can get you to your Poplar, and then you can special summon it for free. It's an amazing card. It's a bit unfortunate that, you know, it's kind of expensive and a bit more difficult to get, but I guess just all the hype around fire decks, you know, is doing its thing. So Bonfire is what it is, but you know, if you're looking to play this deck at its peak, at its full power, I mean, Bonfire is just a card that you need, and it's good. Of course, this isn't the only engine of this deck. It isn't the only, you know, important part of this deck, because of course we still play the Bellstar engine as well. I mean, it just kind of goes together, and there's really no reason not to include this amazing engine in your deck. So we play 1 Diabell Star, and we play 3 Wanteds, and of course 1 original Sinful Spoils, you know, a card that's probably, you know, the most important card right now, because not only does your Diabell Star get you to it, your Poplar does it as well, and you can do so many things with it nowadays. You can get into Panics, obviously, but the really cool thing is that because Poplar puts himself back into the Spell and Trap zone, this card is free. You no longer have to use, you know, maybe a valuable resource like we did before, when we maybe had to send Fire King Sanctuary or some other card that we actually could use, you know, for follow-up and disruption. Now this card is really free. It's a free special summon, and that is obviously amazing. And just this engine in itself, I mean, you can always recycle it. There were so many games where I used original Sinful Spoils through this engine. I got to my Poplar searched it again. I mean, it's just amazing. And yeah, it really is, you know, just an interesting period in Yu-Gi-Oh right now. You know, so many amazing cards. They're really expensive as well, but it is what it is, I suppose. Moving on, we are going to focus on the Fire King portion of the deck now as well. As I said, there are many lists that play only the pure Snake Eyes, and that's something that I definitely want to look into as well. I will probably make a pure Snake Eyes deck profile too, but as a Fire King enjoyer myself, I mean, I felt like it was only right to play this deck how I always wanted to, and that is with these awesome Fire King cards. So 1 Garunix is really all you need. More than that just makes your deck less consistent, and it's unnecessary. It's very easy to get into. Once it's in the grave, it always does its things as well. So 1 is enough. 3 Kirin, one of the best cards, and you always play the 3. You're happy to have it in your hand. You often recycle it through the Sunlight Wolf line as well. It can start so many of your disruptions as well, trigger a lot of things from your graveyard too. It's really good. 1 Panics, because we love Panics. It's really interesting how nowadays, because of this amazing Snake Eyes engine, we don't even need 3 Panics anymore. I would love to play 3, I really would. He kind of feels lonely out there just being at 1 copy, but 1 copy is enough, because again, your Snake Eyes engine will get you to your Panics, and it's really simple to get him out there and to let him do his thing as well. 1 Arvada, you know, it's still a monster negate. It still has a good effect when it's popped. Sometimes you pop him off of Garunix as well. So 1 Arvada is another Fire King name and a fire monster that just kind of makes sense to play. 1 Sanctuary, only 1. It's enough. You search it off of Panics, it gets you to your island. You don't want to draw 2, you don't need 2. You know, it's not really your starter. It's not really a card that will do everything for you these days. So 1 is enough because you can get to it. We play 2 islands. 2 islands, you know, sometimes your island gets popped. So it's good to have it as an option as well. And then just 1 more card. I opted to play Fire King Skyburn. Some people play Circle of the Fire Kings, some people play Skyburn, a lot of them probably play both of them as well. I just wanted to keep the deck at an even 40 cards, and I felt like Skyburn was a bit better than Circle, but honestly, you know, I keep going back and forth on it, so maybe I'll play both. I mean, it's not that bad to have more targets for Panics anyways, because you do kind of summon him a lot, so you know, I think it's up to your preference. But yeah, you know, Skyburn, Circle, you know, those are all good Fire King cards, and you can't really go wrong with them. Now, this is kind of the main portion of the deck in terms of engines and everything, and now we're going to focus on our hand traps. We do play a lot of them because there is space for them, so let's get right to it. We do play, of course, 3 Ash Blossoms. So as I said, we play 6 Ashes in our deck, really. I opted to play 3 Ghost Bells because I felt like there would be not only a lot of mirror matches in the format, you know, voiceless voice is also prevalent. You can stop some cards there as well. It can be really good against branded. So I think this card has a lot of applications in this format, and most of the time when I drew it, it was useful. So I was pretty happy with Bell. I was also happy with Droll, but not too happy because I played against a lot of dimensional shifter decks, so you know, Droll was often kind of a dead card. But regardless, good in theory. I think, you know, you feel a bit safer when you do play it in your deck, so I played it. And then 3 more hand traps, 3 impermanences. I don't think I drew a single infinite impermanence throughout the whole tournament. It just, the card did not love me at all. I did not see it at all, but I mean, it's infinite impermanence, and yeah, you want to play it, especially because it's a card that actually doesn't play into cards like Triple Tactics Talent and so forth. So yeah, impermanence is good. I just didn't see it. And then this is my choice for the last 3 spots in the deck. I decided to play 3 super polymerizations. I think this is a format where whether you go with board breakers or hand traps, they really do have a lot of really good applications. And since I had space in this deck, I was thinking, do I want to play Cold Buy and maybe 2 Triple Tactics Talents? Do I want to put in more hand traps? But the way I looked at it, again, because of a lot of the decks that I mentioned already, you do have many super polymerization targets, and you can really kind of just do a good job of breaking your opponent's field with a single card. So polymerization made sense, and when I saw it, it did exactly its job. So it was good. I just didn't really see it throughout the tournament. I think same as impermanence, I just didn't really draw the card, but I did, you know, manage to resolve it a couple of times, and it definitely helped. So I won't really change that, but it's definitely, you know, something that is, I feel like, still up for discussion, but I think it's worth giving it a try at least. Now, for the extra deck, I think you can already see by this playmat what is one of the most important cards. You know, a card that really just does so many things for this deck. For every fire deck in general, it is Promethean Princess. It is a crazy card. I mean, it's an insane card. First of all, it's a Link 3 that is absolutely free to make. It doesn't really have any requirement on it, you know, just 2 or more effect monsters, so you can make it with literally anything. I would not be surprised if many decks that do not even play fire cards maybe just play like a Promethean Princess and the Amblo Whale plus Jet Synchron package, because it's pretty good and it's so easy to make. And also, it is a Link 3 that has such a high attack number that sometimes, you know, that is also, you know, really helpful to make you, to give you a push if you need to. But you know, this deck can OTK pretty easily anyways. Another card that is important is Amphibious Swarmship Amblo Whale. I think it's really cool that we have an old card that was never really seeing play, and it's now becoming kind of an integral part of a strategy. It gives you disruption, it gives you recursion, and it's just another card that just goes so well with everything else that we play. And we also play 1 Sunlight Wolf. It's simple to make. Once you summon your Link Rib or something under it, you can also recycle your resources. You can recycle your Kirin, even your Ash Blossom. So many cool cards that you just get back for free. This deck is plussing so much, and Sunlight Wolf helps with that a lot. So, of course, as I already mentioned, because we play Sunlight Wolf, Link Karibu is also really important, and not just because of Sunlight Wolf, but because you can send your Poplar comes back into your spell and trap zone, so Link Karibu is just another free body, and you're not losing anything on the field. So this card is insane in this deck. You can also bring it back due to its quick effect. It can also help you during the battle phase as well. I mean, this card is just really nuts. It's funny to see such a small card be so cool. 1 Charmer, which is fire, 1 Charmer, which is dark. Both have their applications. You know, Hira is obviously great, not only for mirror matches, but you know, when your opponent ashes you, you can just bring it back. And then Dark, same thing. You can bring back even opponents' Mascarenas, Little Knights. It's really useful in this deck, even though this extra deck is kind of tight. And there are some changes that I would make. Charmers are really necessary, as is IP Mascarena, really important with your Flamebridge combo, as is of course your SP Little Knight. We don't really have to say much, if anything, about these cards, because we all know how strong they are. Epulus as well is now seeing a lot of play, because you can very easily make it. You can put 2, 3, sometimes even 4 negates on her, and people just have a tough time dealing with it, because this is not your only interruption, not your only disruption, and yet it does so much work by itself as well. We also do play the Zelentis and the Raging Phoenix package. It's a great way to OTK your opponent. It's really easy to make because this deck has so many bodies. It's really free to go into this line and to just make that final push to win the game. Of course, we are not going to forget our one Garunix Eternity. We do play the Fire King package, we do play Sanctuary, so this is just another layer of disruption, mostly during your opponent's turn. It's going to blow up the whole field, and you can still, you know, make your plays. You can still have your Promethean Princess in the graveyard, bring her back by popping Garunix. Garunix is going to bring back your other bodies as well, and you just keep on going, all during your opponent's turn as well. It's amazing. Now, last 2 cards, since we are playing the Super Poly package, are of course one Garura and one Mud Dragon. Mud Dragon especially good because you can make everything fire, which everything already is fire, but you can make him fire, and then, you know, your cards are protected as well. Now, one change that I would make is I would definitely try to find space for one Heat Soul. Heat Soul is really easy to make, especially once you go into the Sunlight Wolf line. You just use him and Link Rebo for your Heat Soul. You draw 2 cards for free, and he's actually a big body as well, because he's always going to have his arrows pointing at your monsters, so he's going to be a nuisance anyways. And you can still do your Promethean Princess line by popping him or some other cards as well. So this is kind of the end board that, you know, I like, whether it's Amphibious, Swarm Ship, Emlo Whale, or Heat Soul. I think both lines are really cool to get into. So that's one change that I would make, but you know, this is also my first tournament with this deck as well. I was kind of in a rush to make the deck list, and I just didn't find space for Heat Soul. But anyways, moving on to the side deck. This is going to be really quick. I went for 3 Nibiru's. I went for a tech choice, which is Kurikara Div Incarnate. You can search it with Ash, and it helped me win some games because my opponents knew that I had it in my hand, that I searched it, and they had to play around it. It was pretty difficult, and it definitely did its job. So moving on, 3 Dark Rulers. This is kind of for the rogue matchups, but it can also help against decks like Vanadium as well, because they don't really play their Omni-Negated trap card anymore. So you can just kind of shut down their whole board with this card, and that is really helpful in order to beat them. 2 Lightning Storms, again, good card. 1 Feather Duster as well. I put 2 Triple Tactics Talent in the side. I didn't want to put it in the main because I opted for Super Poly, so Tactics made its way here. And again, sometimes when you know you're gonna go first, where you expect to get hand trapped, you might as well side in Talent, and then 3 Evenlies as well for some rogue matchups as well. And it again did its thing. So, you know, the side deck can always be improved. I did not play Cosmic Cyclones this time around, but I probably would moving forward. And in terms of the deck, it's really fun. It's performing really well. And if you can get your hands on it, if you can build this deck whether it's pure Snake Eyes, whether it's the Fire King version, I would definitely recommend it because it is a lot of fun. So anyways guys, that will be it. Let me know what you think. I will be coming back with some more detailed profiles and definitely some improved deck lists, because as I said, I feel like this is kind of day one of this new format. So we're still kind of, you know, trying to figure things out. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.